When trying to decide which mount to farm next, it's usually quite hard to stumble upon one that has a 100% drop rate with super defined steps that looks great and that will provide a good amount of fun while getting it. If this sounds like your cup of tea, I've got just the thing, as today I'll walk you through how to get a secret mount added way back in Legion called the Riddler's Mindworm. My name is Ivona from momsden.com, and in case we haven't met yet, go ahead and press that sub button. In this channel, I do simple WoW guides for classes, dungeons, raids, and collectibles, and if you enjoy getting easy wins in WoW, you'll love it here. Apart from looking terrific, this mount has a history, being a riddle thrown into the game as a reference for World of Warcraft Chronicle Volume 1. In order to get it, you'll be collecting tiny pages from all over the world, and each one is a reference for a specific thing or an event in the Chronicle. If you've read the book and liked it, you're going to find this trip down memory lane quite enjoyable. If you're new to the WoW lore and the story about how it all came to be, I highly recommend this book for some late night fantasy reading, as it'll make you love Azeroth even more. When it comes to this particular mount hunt, yes, it's a 100% chance of getting it if you collect all the pieces, but do note that it'll take you a good few hours to do so if you're doing it all at once. Also, this is way easier to do when you use the coordinates, so it's a good idea to check out the description for the full list of them. I did this story from an Alliance character, and I had a ring of the Kirin Tor that teleports me to Dalaran, where there's a Stormwind portal, and I use that quite a lot. So if you're doing this on a character that does not have any other expansions Hearthstones, or you're not a druid with the access to Dreamwalk or a mage with teleports, I suggest getting the ring so you can make your travels easier. The first clue you need is in the new Dalaran, the revamped Legion version that is. You need to find the Ledgermain Lounge Inn, which is in the center of the city, and go over to the lone shelf on the ground floor. There's a clickable piece of paper there called page 9, which you need to interact with. This is very important as you won't be able to interact with other pages if you miss clicking on one of them. The page reads, "Of Sea, Spirit, and Self," referring to the Emerald Dream, which is an intersection of the planes of water, spirit, and reality on the WoW cosmology map. Then you want to get yourself over to Twilight Grove in Duskwood, near the Moonwell. The piece of paper is sitting on a bench, and it's called page 78. The reason why you're here is because one of the portals to the Emerald World is nearby, and that's exactly what the first clue was about. This page reads, "First of the Lords to fall," which is Ragnaros, who was the first elemental lord to fall to the Titans during the War of the Titan Forge chapter in the Chronicles. This is why your next destination is Firelands, which is Ragnaros' final resting place. To get to this clue, you need to actually go into the Firelands instance and clear the whole thing up until the Ragnaros' platform, but while you're there, you can kill him for a weekly chance of the Pureblood Firehawk mount. On the left side of the platform, there's a piece of paper called page 161, and it reads, "The Wind, the Eye." Chronicle 1 has got a map of Azeroth while it was under the control of the Black Empire. In it, what's visible is the domains of the Wind, presented by Alakir, and the Eye, presented by Cthulhu. On their southern border, there's a Vernal River in the Uldum and its delta, and this is exactly where you need to go for your next clue. Therefore, you want to get yourself to the right end of the Vernal River delta, between the two trees, and that's where you'll find page 655. In it, you'll read, "The Plume, the Tomb, a Scarab Moon." This was kind of a tricky one, and only thanks to the might of the WoW secret finding Discord community, we now know what it is. In the Chronicles, there's a map of ordered Azeroth, which was created after the old gods gave the powers to several beings to instill order into Azeroth. If you draw a line from the Plume, which is represented by Ungoro Crater having the Fire Plume Ridge volcano in the center of it, to the Tomb, which is represented by the Veil of Eternal Blossoms, the location of the Vault of Yasharash, the old god's tomb, and the Scarab Moon, which is represented by Ankiraj, you will get an arrow pointing towards the Vault of Yasharash, which is the location of the next page. Now that one was a tough one to crack, wasn't it? To get to the location, you'll be entering another raid, and that's the Siege of Orgrimmar, located in the Vale of Eternal Blossoms in Pandaria. You'll need to clear the raid up until the Shah of Pride's room, and you don't need to kill the boss for this, but you do need to collect the page 845 in the northwest corner of the room, looking from the entrance where you exit Norshin's room. If you've got some additional time on your hands, you can clear this raid for a chance to get the mount from Garrosh Hellstream on Mythic difficulty, the Corcoran Juggernaut. Be warned though, as this instance is very long and it requires you to dedicate at least an hour to it. But anyway, the page 845 reads, "In snow, sand and stone," which is another line drawing riddle from the Chronicle map. In it, there's a map of Azeroth after the Akir and Troll War. By drawing lines between the three titaned objects in the map, Ulduar, which is the snow-covered north, Uldum, otherwise known as the land of the Titans, and it's also a desert, and Uldaman, which is the place where the Titans created the Throgs from stone, the Well of Eternity will be at the center of this triangle, and this is where we're going next. The Well of Eternity is actually a dungeon you'll need to do, and the entrance is located in the Caverns of Time in Tanaris. After you've defeated the Ajara encounter, get to the last room where the Well of Eternity is, and at the bottom of one of the stairs that lead to the well, you'll find the page 1127. When you click on it, you'll find the text, "Behold the battle, unblinking." This is another mind-boggling riddle. In the Chronicles, on the page 84 to be exact, there's a picture of the august celestial Xuen fighting against Li Xin. In the background of the encounter, you can see the entrance to the Shadowpan Monastery and the tiger statues that guard its doors. They're the ones watching the battle, unblinking, and this is where you want to go next. You're now officially done with going into instances, but you will have to get yourself over to the entrance of Shadowpan Monastery in Kun-Lai's summit and find those unblinking statues. At the foot of the leftmost statue lays your next page, the 2351 one. It reads, "Bejeweled Watcher," which is a bit of an easier clue to find. At the entrance to the Halls of Origination in Uldum stand two watchers with their bejeweled staffs, and in order to get your second to last clue, that's where you should go. Once you're near the statue, you'll spot the page 5555 sitting at the foot of one of the watchers. These are all the pages you need to collect, and all that's left to be done is to go over to Westfall and pick up your mount. The page actually reads, "Ray of Sunrise," as there is a lighthouse over there, and the sunrises on the coast are actually quite beautiful. Also, there's a book reference to this, as the east compass line in one of the maps leads directly to the Westfall coast when you draw a line to it. The sun comes out in the east, so that was pretty obvious, but without the awesome secret finding community on Discord, none of this would have been possible. If you've done all of this correctly, going over to the Westfall beach and looting the purple glowing item in the wreckage called the Gift of the Mind Seekers will ultimately award you with your Riddler's Mind Worm mount. And that's it for this guide. I hope you enjoyed bits and pieces of lore reference, and I also hope you'll love your awesome new mount even more. If you found this video useful, leave it a like so more people can find it, and if you'd like to see more guides like this, press that sub button so you don't miss them. Thank you for watching, good luck, and bye bye.